Okay, so I do want to transition to my topic, but
Yeah.
it's going to be back-to-back really heated topics. So I'd actually like to go to Alan
Okay.
and maybe talk a little bit about your topic.
Your topic.
Pets!
Cats!
Yeah! Everybody wants a licky brush!
Yeah!
Brush.
So I want to talk to you guys about getting your first pets, not only as a kid yourself, but also like maybe with your family you have now, like your children's first pet, your first pet in a relationship, anything like that. So like me, I'd always wanted dogs. Okay, so I'll say first major pet, goldfish do not count unless you had like a really deep connection with your goldfish, and in which case I want to hear about it.
Little Timothy.
So like, yeah, first thing I got was like, like maybe a fish or something, and then maybe hamsters that definitely fucking died like every other week.
Yeah. What about little snails?
No.
Yeah, if you had like major connection with those snails, I want to know about it.
Hermit crabs. That's what they're.
Yeah. Oh, hermit crabs.
They do the same. They do the same thing as snails.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. How about a dog?
Yeah, so I was, I think I was in first or second grade, and it was Christmas in Texas, and I remember walking outside of a grocery store, seeing like these Cocker Spaniels for sale, and just like seeing all of them, like in love with all of them. One of them especially was like at the very bottom of like the pile, the puppy pile. They're all jumping. He's like being crushed. He's like ah, and so I was like, oh, this one's so cute. And then sure enough, my dad's like, you're gonna want to come home like right now to see this. And I like run across the street. I was like playing with my friend across the street, and I remember he said I like did this thing where I like was so excited that I jumped and like pulled my pants up at the same time to like pull me up higher. And he was just like, I'll never forget what you looked like when you did that. Anyway, so
did you know when your dad said you should see? Like, did you have a hint?
I kind of had like an idea that like this was gonna happen. Yeah. So like, sure enough, it's two Cocker Spaniels, brothers, and one of them was the little runt guy, and then the other one was like the alpha guy.
Cool.
So we got both of those, and
cool.
That was my first pets. And obviously, when you have your first pet, you're supposed to like, you do all the taking care of it. First time you're like really raising something on your own. And those guys were around, I want to say one of them, the one brother that lasted, he like lived till he was 12, and the other one was 15. It's like pretty good.
Wow.
They're smaller dogs, so they usually have a general lifespan.
12 is great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had like, it's so funny because like they were supposed to be like good breed, but then they had shit tons of genetic issues.
Sucks. They're constantly in and out of the hospital.
Yeah, constantly in and out of the hospital. Like one of them had like a bionic leg by the end of this. Like,
You can make him
one
stronger.
of them was like fully blind, just like walking around the house.
Make him stronger. Super down.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so my first pet was a dog,
What kind of dog?
Macy. Okay.
No,
Well,
that's my dog.
Exactly. Well, I was kind of a late comer. We begged like for years to get a dog, and my parents just said no every time. And so like my friends had dogs. Like Rocco had Macy. My other friends, they had Maxie down the road. And finally one day we sat down. We're at dinner, and my sister and I are just pleading with my parents. And then finally I said, it'll help us teach us how to raise something and prepare us for life when we're older and we have kids. And my dad goes,
like, it's gonna mature me, guys. Like,
and my
come
dad,
on.
yeah, and seriously, my dad was like, I had nothing to say back to you. He's just like, I couldn't say. He's like, I had no rebuttal. So, he
Like shit, I gotta get you one.
Yeah.
you little shit. No, so.
Right.
We actually ended up. I was in 5th grade getting a miniature Schnauzer. The dogs with the beards. Yeah. And
Yeah. With the beards.
Yeah.
Little
the dogs with the beards. Yeah.
Are they
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Scottish
When
Terriers?
you cut them.
Yeah.
They bark.
Scottish Terriers have beards too.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this one just had. He was black. He was really cool, and his name was Bogart, and his
Sweet.
nickname was Bo.
Where'd you get that name?
My dad names his dogs like he always had after like famous actors and stuff like that.
Cool.
So Humphrey Bogart. Yeah.
Alan,
I
did you
named my
say your
dogs.
dog's name? Sorry.
Oh, Doc and Pepper.
And I'm
as in
okay.
Doctor Pepper.
Oh, really?
way.
That's so.
It's not actually that reason. It just worked out that way. The one doc was named after the doctor that was the surgeon for my mom, actually, when she was in the hospital. And then Pepper, my dog, was black, and I was like in first grade, so I was like, he's black. I'm gonna call him Pepper.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
Nice.
So
That works
yeah,
out.
not the most ingenious name, but
Not one
It
of those
works,
people that
Dr.
name a
Pepper.
dog DOG or something.
yeah.
DOG. Come here, DOG.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bo, he lived till I think 14, and at the end,
Dang.
like my parents were bringing him to the vet all the time, and we had a friend come over who was like knew a lot about medicine. He wasn't a doctor; he was actually a mortician. But he saw the pills for our dog. He's like, "Holy shit!" He's like, "You guys are giving this to him?" And he just looks over at my dog, and he's just laying on the couch. He's like, "He is high as hell."
The dog's like, I'm feeling good right
No,
now.
I feel
you
real
did.
good right now. I can go to sleep.
What's up, Ian,
I would
bro?
come home, and he would just look up at me and just like lay back down, like, "Hey, you're gonna come over here and pet me. I'm not coming to you." You know.
So-
But yeah, he was a cool dog. He
Stoner.
if the front door was like slightly cracked open, he would just take off.
Yeah.
And yeah, wouldn't listen to you trying to come back. He did not give two shits. He was a grumpy old man.
So I had a black lab as my first dog, as a family dog, when I was real young, and as you heard Ian say, her name was Macy. We got her at a pound. So we had begged my mom and my stepdad for a really long time, like, can we get a dog? Can we get a dog? You know, we were saying we'll take it out, we'll do all the things, you know, obviously, which never happened.
No,
yeah, of
like,
course.
Because
and then it
parents
becomes the
don't have a
parents'
way to like.
responsibility.
What do you do? Take the dog away?
Yeah,
Like, how do
exactly.
you
No, that's not
reprimand?
gonna happen. Like, you're gonna go to timeout.
Yeah,
Shit, he's still
it
not
doesn't
taking the
work.
dog out. Dog.
Bless you.
Dog out.
Because-
Bless
No,
you.
so we were like, we'll do it, you know, yada, yada, yada. Played the whole cards, you know, and ended up getting a dog. And when we were there, where I was looking at this Basset Hound, and I was like, oh, this guy's so super cute, you know. My mom ended up choosing Macy, which is the black lab. And to be honest, I wasn't really the happiest that moment, because I was kind of like, I really want this Basset Hound because he's so much smaller, you know. Macy was kind of like a little bit older of a dog. I was like, I want him. But then finally, when we got into the car, it was like game over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that dog stayed with us like me and my brother and my sister, Macy always like laid with us. We were chilling on the couch, we were doing anything. She was hanging out with us, running around with us, playing. But just like Ian said too with Bogart, if we opened the door even the slightest, that dog took off. And she thought it was the funniest thing ever to watch us.
Yeah.
And our little kids just chasing her around the neighborhood, trying to catch up to her. Because she would
Yeah.
like play games. Like she'd let you get close, and then once you got within like a 2 feet range and you went to go dive for her or do something, she would take off running and like
Boom,
laugh. You know?
gone.
She looked like she was laughing. She had a smirk on her face when she just
Yeah.
took
She
off.
did.
But,
Yeah. And then
really
she got
good dog,
older,
honestly. Yeah.
and that bitch couldn't run anymore.
No. Nope, she couldn't run anymore. She
Yeah.
did. So we were talking about how long did they last and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know, I think she did about 11 years. She was
Yeah, she was
a
good.
black, you know, a black lab, did about 11 years old and ended up passing and stuff like that. And for her namesake, we came up with Macy. I don't know exactly how that came around. It was maybe it's like my mom's favorite store to shop at or something like that. I know that she goes there all the time, but you know, I don't think that kids actually had any type of say in actually naming the dog. I think.
What
that
about
was-
Chi Chi and Keisha?
Yeah, so those were my dad's. Those were like I had two different kind of families growing up. It was like my mom and my stepdad, and then my dad's side. And my dad's side, my first dogs with him were a Keeshhound named Keisha and a Chow named Chi Chi. And they were just like super hairy, fluffy dogs that looked like clouds floating around. And they were really good dogs. But the Chow, I would have to say, definitely had that whole
Chow mentality.
yeah, whatever you call that, like whatever the word is for it. But he played into the stereotype. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That really aggressive, like raw, protect you.
Oh,
and shit
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
charge other dogs always, just like
Right.
body
Yeah.
up like a gorilla kind of does. But other than that, he was great to the family and stuff. He was awesome with
Yeah,
the
they're
family.
family dogs.
Good dogs though. Yeah. So that's
Cool.
that. I mean, I have
Alright.
another dog I'll speak about, but I'll let Clay go at it too.
Yeah, so I had two dogs growing up. It's the same old story. You beg your parents a ton,
Yeah.
and then they finally break
Yeah.
down and get it for you. The two dogs I had were respectively like mine and my sister's. Mine was Marla, which was a Scottish Terrier, named after, which I'm just now like laughing at, Marla Trump, like Trump's like first wife. That my
Really?
Yeah. Well, my mom like demand. Well, it was insane. This dog was supposed to be for me. We ended up getting a dog that my mom wanted, and it was named after the name that my mom wanted. Right, so it was called Marla. She was a Scottish black little terrier. I wanted a wolf dog. I want to call him Max, like real typical of a little boy, right? So
Tell us how you really feel.
yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
And then the other dog that we had was a white Westie, and it was named Sarah because my sister really liked the name Sarah, and they named it after her. Except this dog had a goddamn death wish in everything that she was involved in. She was like a daredevil, right? So you had Marla on one hand, which was very, very timid, very shy, and then you had this other dog that just like would want to get into, it did not care how hot or how like high or whatever. Like she would jump off our deck like about 7 feet, and I swear it would break her little legs, but she somehow like managed to like jump on grass and like be okay. We'd find her stuck on the top above ground pool, and then we also found her like jumping off our brook into the water and just swimming. Like she was much like your dog in the sense that she just wanted to fucking go. She didn't know where she wanted to go, but she wanted to, and it didn't matter if it was like through fucking spikes. She was running, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We had this issue. It's a tragic story. We had this issue with our gate that would always be left open for various people coming in and out. The gate was what divided our front and backyard. Our backyard is where the dogs would play. We would just let them out through the door. And what would happen is this gate would always be left open. So it was always a thing to do. When you went to let the dogs out to go pee or play, you checked the gate first. And it wasn't an easy thing to do. You had to walk through the porch, look, and then open up the door, right? Well, there's been a couple times that they got out and we fucking finally got them or whatever. And Marlo was always fucking timid and we could catch her first. What would happen a lot of times, too, is that we would get a guy who would mow our lawn. My dad would hire lawnmowers. They would never close the fucking gate, ever.
Oh, yeah.
And this was always a thing. If you heard the lawnmower, if you saw those guys, you always knew that the gate was probably open. For whatever reason, my mom did not check that day and opened up the gate, and these dogs ran and then almost took off. And I think my mom immediately realized, was like, wait a minute, I didn't check. Fuck, it's open. Saw the Westie run. She ran after Sarah. Marla's like, just like sniffing the gate, really. She's still all the way behind. Sarah runs, and my mom describes this very vividly. She was chasing after Sarah.
Oh, gosh.
The dog ran to the middle of the road, stopped and looked back and just looked at my mom, and then fucking truck just came and wailed and rolled. And I had a friend over at the time, and I don't know what got my attention, but I was drawn to the front yard where all this stuff was happening. The motherfucking lawnmower dude was just like mowing the lawn, looking back. I basically opened up the door to just a crazy bloody scene where the dog is on like the front lawn, bloody, like barely breathing, twitching, and my dad and my mom are like looking at it, and it was like my first real brush with death, and I lost it. I couldn't believe it. I went.
How old were you when that went down?
I was probably around 10, because I'd gotten Marlo when at 8, and this dog only lasted a year. I mean, she was trying to die, and I just remember going back in my bedroom and just like smashing stuff and throwing on the ground, just being pissed and like just really angry. And then I'll never forget too, my dad would just, he was just like, it's over, and he just put her in a black bag.
It's over.
And took her off and like dropped her somewhere, I think to the vet. Like just, I don't know. Yeah. What do you do? God. You can't like bring this bloody carcass in your hands, but like it was just really hard. So all these images, like this, like the fact that like it happened, and then the fact that like it was dead and easily is gone and disposable, is putting in a bag while it's still kind of breathing. I was just like, I couldn't. That fucked. I'm sure it messed with me somehow.
Yeah. So have you like wanted to? Have you had an animal since then?
Well, we had Marla, and it was really awkward because she was used to having this friend to play around with. So when she came out into the backyard, she would look around and was like, where the hell's Sarah? And I was like, no, she died. And then Marla eventually, she died of old age and bad hospital, like around 11 years old, 12 years old. We eventually got another pair of dogs. I was kind of in end of college, already living in Chicago at the time. My mom got two little really cute dogs.
Gotcha.
But this gate does not get left open anymore. So,
yeah. I bet that never ever is closed. Like the lock is always checked nowadays. That sucks, man.
Yeah.
So I got a dog now. I actually picked up this dog for my son's fourth birthday party. So this is the family dog that we were talking about, like if you have a family dog kind of thing. So this is the first dog from my kids, as well as the first dog from my family unit, you know. Really the first dog I got to go choose and stuff too as well, you know, and do that thing. So we got ourselves an Australian Shepherd and picked him up from a breeder, and his name's Cosmo, and so that was a name that we decided to choose. You know, we gave our kid, you know, a few different names, like it was like 2 or 3 names. I can't remember what the other ones were. But we were thinking like Cosmos, like the cosmos out there, you know. So Cosmo was like one of those names, and our son was, you know, he's all about like you know, outer space and all this different stuff. So he was all about that name. We kind of figured he was going to be. I was like, please, please, please do this. That was awesome, cool. Here we go.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, but this dog he's a great dog. He's super intelligent. The thing is that he's like another kid, to be honest, because he'll like. He gives you these eyes that are like, I'm trying to tell you something, like, and he's like. Doing one of these things, like, oh, and he'll throw his little toy and then give you the look like this, like, either check my water, check my food, I might need to take a shit or a piss, like, oh, I want to go outside and play, I'm done being in here, I'm bored, you know? But the thing is that he's a high-energy dog, so he's constantly, the good thing about right now, versus where I've always used to live, is that I'm on 10.4 acres of land right now, so I can just open up my door because he's a super high-energy dog and just let him run. Like, let him go outside and run the woods, chase the squirrels, have a good time. He's never gone far enough where we can't just call him from the front door, and he comes right back. And I like this right now for him, for the sake of he gets to be able to run free and stuff like that. It's the first dog that I've had that I feel like he's got the land to be able to do what he needs to do, you know, which is why we chose that active dog too, because we were thinking we got the land, we got the property, let's let him be able to run around. And as well as he's Australian Shepherd, so he's known for herding, and we've got like chickens and some other things too, and he loves naturally. It's really cool to see how he interacts with them, because anytime I'm coming around the corner, he will always bolt out first and kind of chase them off to the back corner. I'm like, wow, it's like a natural
herding dog.
Herd the dogs into a area to get them to move the way he wants them to move. And I think it's kind of cool because I didn't teach him that at all. But
is he pretty good, well behaved, like in terms of like following your commands?
He is, and he's not. It depends on what it is. So if it has to do with barking, he's not about listening to me. To be honest, like I'll be like quiet, he'll and you're like quiet, and he's like. You know, like
man, I thought there was Cosmo right there.
He just can't.
Or Rocco's like having a moment where we gotta call the ambulance or something.
We don't know.
I'm serious.
Had to tell if your friends in
It's like he can't help it. You can see that inside of him, he's like he wants to be protective. So he wants to like bark at anything outside of our house while we're inside the house to make sure that it stays away. So that's one side that he's not really that obedient with.
So you guys,
the other is jumping. So like he'll get excited and jump up on people, and I'll be like, hey, down, down. Those are the 2 cons that are pretty decent sized cons for us at least right now, to try to work on getting him to correct.
Steve, did you have that issue growing up with dogs or pets?
No, I've always had pets. My
this
dad
is for pets, man.
Yeah, my dad had like every single kind of pet. He loved dogs. He loved pets. Like we've had anything from like African zebra mice to like New Zealand like lop-eared bunnies. Like
how about
what is the African zebra mice?
Yeah.
How about the flying?
And does that count under Alan's?
Oh yeah,
we
got sugar gliders.
First pet.
All right.
No way, you had a sugar.
Yeah, that was
it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, that was the worst idea. Was the African zebra mice? Like, I don't know why we got them, because you couldn't take them out of the cage. Because like you couldn't take them out of the cage because they're the fastest mouse, the fastest mouse ever. Like immediately when you took it out, man, we never caught it again. Like it was gone.
Alan's reaction.
So you just had mice in your house then?
Yeah, like African zebra. I'm sure it got caught because there's a lot of cats around our neighborhood, but. Like this thing was crazy, yeah. So, yeah, we had the sugar gliders too.
I've seen those. Those are weird, man. They smell.
Yeah,
you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like pets are so strange. Why do we get pets? For the most part, they're just off in a corner, just sitting there.
Rufus. Yeah,
ferrets are awesome.
He was my favorite.
Ferrets are cool.
He was my favorite though. He was really cool. He like no matter what you did with him, he was like a dog, man. Like I'd throw him on the bed, and he would do this like roll and get up and go. And just run back to you and want you to throw it in. Like, and it was such a weird run because you know how like they have the long bodies, like man, it was so awesome. Geez, man.
It's like Ace Ventura up in your house, man.
No, dude, no joke. I'm not even kidding. Every time I go to his house, there's some new fucking pet, and I was like, "What the fuck is this thing?"
Yeah, we even at one point we had Savannah mixed cats, like
Oh yeah, the Savannah
Those
cats.
were the worst idea because, dude, my
Well, you had a
like-
shit ton of mice, so yeah.
like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
scratched up your arms. They weren't like domesticated at all, man.
Jeez.
They're bad. Yeah, we ended up having to get rid of them because they were scratching like my sister's face and everything like that. They're really bad. Let's see, emu.
What?
You had
Yeah,
an
we had
emu?
You got an emu?
Yeah, my dad when we got
that's
property
not
up in Spring Hill.
How did you get all these fucking animals in?
Well, the emu was funny because the emu show. I guess we went up there and we bought the house, and the couple, I guess the older couple, were like, "If you guys buy the house, you guys have to keep the emu."
oh yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
You told the story of
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
is
you
all
told
that.
us, yeah.
Not like, oh, that's common.
Because he showed
Yeah,
up.
exactly. That's what I was like. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that
like that's
happened.
common, bro. Like where the fuck do
But
you
like
live?
we asked him, we were like,
Emus
"How'd you
come
guys
with
get
the
it?" And he's like,
Oh,
he
yeah,
showed
I've
up
heard of
one
this.
day. He showed up one day and
The
he
old
never
emo
left.
exchange.
Like, but who the hell? Like, how
Who,
does
the
an
emu?
emu just? Yeah, how does the emu
How do
just
you
show up?
lose an emu?
Yeah, exactly. How do you lose it? Like literally, like it just
Oh, you
showed up
guys-
one day and never
That
left.
never happened to you?
Yeah.
I mean,
But,
yeah.
I got
just-
emus in my living room right now.
Random
I was the
fucking
first one
emus
to
in my
lose an
yard
emu.
every day. I just decided not to
But-
keep them.
I'd have to say my favorite pet out of all of them was Bishop. He was an English Mastiff.
Yeah, he was.
We got Bishop. We got Bishop from the comic X-Men. You know, Bishop. My
Yeah,
dad always
that's
liked
awesome.
Oh yeah.
My dad always liked the name Bishop, and we also had Max. We actually for like a lot of Rottweilers in the they were all named Max. We had like 3 Rottweilers like over the span of my life.
They were just
And
all Max?
named Max. Max Jr., Max the Third. Like my dad loved Max. Like so. Anyways,
he took
he was an
took
English
Chloe's
Mastiff.
idea for name.
260 pound dog. His head was like huge. Rocco remembers him.
Yeah, dude, you could
but
ride
he's
that
like-
dog. Literally,
Yeah.
we rode that dog.
Yeah,
like a
he
small
was like
horse.
yeah, he was like a baby though, man. Like he would try to he'd be like a lap dog and everything like that. Didn't have too much problems drooling and everything like that. People always like worry about if they drool a lot, only after they're done drinking or something.
Yeah.
And they have like, but he was definitely a big baby, and I remember getting him and everything. He was like, we're like, yeah, we got a puppy, and then I was like, this isn't a puppy, this is like a full-grown fucking dog.
yeah.
Like
They
he
come
was
out
huge.
big. Yeah.
He was like 4 months old, but he was big for a 4-month
Yeah.
old.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was messing with the mute.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of pets, dude. That's pretty
Dude,
crazy.
yeah, like I said, we ended up having rats at one point too because the python didn't eat a rat, and his name was Stanley. He was awesome too because
Jesus. Okay, we get
Yeah.
it. You had a
Yeah.
zoo in your freaking house. And you had every guy. You had a lion.
well, Mastiff could be considered a lion.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's true.
Yeah, we had a bull, like a bull.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff.
All right.
That's two.
Let's
Do
let's.
you have pets still? Steve?
Yes.
Oh, do I have pet? I have maybe you want to consider it a pet, a little Chihuahua.
if you want to
But
consider it a pet.
I do have Abigail. Like I love Abigail. She's awesome. It was Rocco's old cat
Cat.
and everything. Kind of adopted her and everything.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
He's awesome.
I have a mutt, Ziggy. You guys, I think I've talked about her before.
It's Alan's
said-
best reaction to date. When
What?
Ziggy was about to throw up, Alan was just
Oh, yeah.
shocking. He was just like, he didn't know what the hell was going on.
It came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Dude, it was so funny.
It's a weird noise.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's.
she's had an interesting life, so.